Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we've got a bit of a different show for you. We're doing a bit of a behind-the-scenes show.
We're doing some co-hosting, different way of doing it.
Yeah, we're going to be swapping it over. Brian's going to be taking the lead, taking the reins.
There we go.
Riding the horse and interviewing me, aren't you, Brian?
I am.
About...
And just as we're about to start, the dog normally wants to sit on my microphone stand, so hopefully she'll not settle down on the microphone stand.
Yeah, and just, there you go. Look, she's turned around and she's settled down
Settled
now.
in the sun.
So thank you so much for joining us. As we've been promising this episode for quite a while, and now we are able to give it to you, and we are so excited about that.
It's getting close, isn't it, Liz?
It is getting close. For those of you who don't know what we are talking about, if this is the first time you've joined us, thank you for being here. We are Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We talk about all things travel, life, family, relationships, entrepreneurial journeys, and everything good like that.
Yes.
5 years ago, we threw our lives in the air. We changed our life completely when we took our children traveling around the world for a year. They were 16 and 13 at the time, and we backpacked the world with them for a year on $70 a day. Since coming back from that trip, we just changed our lives around, and we took you on that journey with us in the way of podcasts and blog posts. I am just about to release a book called the Travel Bog Diaries, and it is a humorous memoir of what it was like to travel the world with your family when you're just basically a menopausal mess, really, Bri.
Yeah.
You know?
I often feel that way, Liz.
Do you, Bri?
I do. I often think, people say men don't have menopausal stress. Well, I think they do.
Do you know what I think it is with you, Bri? I think you want
What's that?
to jump on the bandwagon. That's all it is with you.
If you're doing it, then I'll do it as well.
Honestly,
Yeah. If I'm
just
feeling
let
a
us
bit
have
weird,
something to
so
ourselves,
am I.
please. It's our thing. We are messy and menopausal. You are not.
I'll just go and get my testosterone pump out.
Anyway, so this book is about to be released in very, very, very soon. I promise you, I know I've been saying that for a while.
Within the next couple of weeks,
In the
realistically,
next couple
isn't
of
it?
weeks, definitely.
Yeah.
And the cover has been something the cover has been a little bit different for us. It's been a bit controversial, isn't it, Brian?
Personal, really, Liz, I think.
Very personal.
Yes.
Yeah, very personal. And so we thought Brian could chat to me about how all that has been playing out and just let you sit back and listen to what that journey has been like. So, I'm going to hand it over to you, Brian.
So, hello, Liz. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Brian.
Just a little
You're
bit
a very
about
attractive man.
Yeah. Well, should we finish this now? So, would you like to just introduce yourself and just tell me a little bit about your book?
A little bit about my
just
book.
a little tiny little bit about the book. Just literally within 30 seconds.
Okay, so my book is written is a travel humour memoir written in the voice of a 48-year-old woman, me, who struggles to take her family around the world for a year on very little money and far too many hormones racing around within the family. Mine were diminishing. The children's were increasing bucket loads by the day. You had a very bad back and suffered from acid reflux. And I just wanted this trip in my head. I thought it was going to be all Instagram and perfect. I'd seen other people do it. And I was like, we're going to be one of those cool families who go traveling around the world. And the reality was just the opposite. And these stories are diary entries, basically short stories from 17 countries around the world, telling you a story of what happened in that country. And that is the book. That is the Travel Bog Diaries.
So thank you for that little introduction. And the first question on the list is, what was the most challenging part of the book writing process?
You sound like you're reading that, Brian, are you?
No, I don't read things. I'm
You're
like,
just coming off the top of your head there,
I
is
would read
it?
backwards if I was
You're a
reading.
very good interviewer and a very good question asker. What was the question? What was
the most challenging part of the book writing process?
Oh, okay. So the most challenging part of writing this book, first of all, I just want to say I have been a blogger for 5 years. I have written thousands and thousands and thousands of words, hundreds of blog posts. And so when I decided to write a book, I thought naively that writing a book would just be an extension of being a blogger. I could just get a load of blog posts together and then just go, there you go, no different than writing emails and blog posts, and that's going to be it. The most challenging part about it was, unlike blog posts where you can just go in and edit it, and I know you can edit a book, but it's felt like this, when you write a book, it's almost like, that's it. When you've written this. So it's the perfectionist in me has held me back and made me question myself completely all the time. Just like, instead of just thinking like I do when I write a blog post, oh yeah, here it is, I've questioned myself time and time and time again. So the most challenging part about writing this book for me has been learning, and I am still learning this right now as I'm saying these words, I am still learning, has been learning to trust in myself and learning to trust in my gift, in my skill, my humor, my meanness. Learning to trust in that has been the most challenging thing. Yeah.
So just going back to that just a tiny little bit, it sounds to me that you're talking about like imposter syndrome. You just said to me, I've written thousands of blog posts, hundreds of thousands of words, hundreds of blog posts. Yep. But then you've had a problem with thinking I can write a book.
Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, because all of a sudden now you're going to put your name to a book, and everyone, like, this is what I'm telling myself in my head, everyone knows that people who write books are proper writers. Like, if you write a book, you've got to be a proper writer. You can't just say, oh, I'm a blogger. And that's nothing against bloggers, because I am a blogger and I have been for 5 years. But there is, I don't know if it's a stigma or something in my own head, but tells me that if you're going to put your name to a book, if you're going to go out there into the world and say, I am writing a book, then you will better be bloody well good. Yep. Don't you give us any rubbish. And that's what I say. So yeah, you are right. It's big imposter syndrome.
Right. Because I was listening to something the other day when they said, if there's two people going to be invited on a podcast, one's a specialist in both in the same field, but one of them's written a book. And they say, I'll just choose the one who's written the book. And you might not be as good as the guy who's been the specialist for 30 years, or the person who's been doing it for 10 years, but written a book. Yeah. It's got a funny stigma, hasn't it? Yeah. When you think about things.
Do you know
like
why
that.
I think that is, Bri? I've heard that say too, and I've heard people go, oh yeah, if you've written a book. Because I didn't realise until now, this has taken me 2.5 years, and I didn't realise the blood, sweat and tears that goes into writing a book. So to me, it's a little bit like when you get your gold Duke of Edinburgh, you know that thing where it's like, oh yeah, you've got this gold. It just means perseverance. It means, it just means you've sat down and you've bloody well done the work, you've kept at it.
And the other thing is talking about that perseverance, about self-publishing is a slightly different thing, because I believe that you are self-publishing this, aren't you?
I am self-publishing, Brian. Yes. You believed right there, my love.
Yeah. Well, I'm not allowed to say this because I'm not supposed to know you.
Oh, right. We're doing role play, are we? Oh, right. Okay. Well, are you married?
If you want. Yeah, I am actually.
What's your wife like?
She's all right. Hormonal. Right, so part 2 of it was, what was the most enjoyable part of then the writing process?
What was the most enjoyable part of the writing process? When I just write a line and it is like gold. It is like gold running through my veins. Yeah. It is like the feeling when you write something and you read it back and it makes you laugh. That's the biggest thing with me. When I read my book, I've read it. I've had 4 drafts of this book now. Yeah. And I've had to keep reading it and checking it and reading it.
But this goes back to you mean they go to the editor then back again?
Yeah, just the whole process. But when you write something and it's hard to describe, but when you write something and all of a sudden it's just like everything makes sense. Everything is perfect. Everything is just light. Because you've laughed. I've written it and I've gone like a naughty laugh, like, like, oh my God, that is funny. That is funny. And that feeling of just when you read your own work, sometimes I'm like, who wrote that? When I go back and read it and I laugh and I'm like, where did those words come from? Who wrote that? That is the enjoyable part. And that is just, it's like a drug. It is like a drug, and you keep looking for it all the time. You keep searching in your head for those lines, for those stories, for those, just those laughs. And when you get them, I suppose, I've never taken drugs, but when you get them, it's like that massive hit. And you just keep going back and going, oh, I'm going to do more. I'm going to find more.
Well, we all take drugs every day because, we've got the drugs inside us. It's just getting them out of us. And that's what you're talking about, that dopamine hit that you get from that sheer just like, oh, wow. Like instant gratification of you've just created something that's brilliant.
Yeah. And just, well, I don't know about brilliant, but I've created something that makes me laugh. And that to me is a huge, huge, huge win.
Yeah.
If I can make myself laugh and I've written those words, then I picture other people reading them and laughing. And the second part of this question is, the second part of this answer, when you say what's been the most enjoyable, I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but 2 days ago, I got Tessa is back from Wellington at the moment. She's, let's just say she's come home for a week. We are just surrounding her and, just giving her lots of love and
Bit of family love.
Bit of family love. And Sunny is also at home. Sunny lives with us, our 21-year-old son. On Friday, we had just us four together. And that's very rare because they've both got boyfriends and girlfriends and they're both busy. You know what kids are like. They're always out and doing stuff and theatre and jobs and all the rest of it. And Friday night, we had a meal and it was just the four of us. I am just about to publish this book. And they have never read any of it. I mean, you know what it's like when your mum's...
don't, do they?
They don't care what you're doing. It's just like...
Mum's writing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like...
She's been doing it for years.
Yeah. And I said to them, would you mind if I just read a chapter to you? And they're like, of course we wouldn't mind, we'd love that. So we all sat down around the table. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever done because, reading your work on the internet and putting it out on YouTube and on podcasts is one thing, but reading it to the people that you've written that book about... Like that book is all about them and you, Brian.
Yeah.
And just reading it out loud and thinking, shit, what are you going to think of it? And are you going to be happy with it and stuff? But I read it to them and it was the Japan chapter. And I chose that chapter because that chapter is very much about them and their reaction to couch surfing. We went couch surfing in Japan and it was just their reaction to that. The sheer horror of me saying to them, we're going to be sleeping on a Japanese person's floor in their house. What's wrong with that? Yeah. And they sat at the table and I watched their reaction as I was reading it to them and they were just mesmerised. And both of them, after I'd finished reading, Sunny just said to me, oh my God, you are a brilliant storyteller, doesn't it? Oh, it just made me cry, and like Tessa's just...
Well, you held the suspense.
I'm so proud of you. Yeah. So that was the most enjoyable part of this book writing experience.
Right, moving on to question number 2. And this is like what we kind of skimmed over just before, is tell me about the cover and describe it. Describe
the book cover.
Yes.
That's a very good question, but I'm liking these questions that you've got. They're very, very well thought out.
I don't know who wrote these down, but
it was you. You just didn't know it because the gold that came out of you.
There you go.
Describe the book cover. Okay, well, first of all, the book is called The Travel Bog Diaries. Bog is a northern slang word in England for toilet. I think it's just the north of England. I'm assuming it is. I mean, we've always called it, I want to go to the bog, and it means I want to go to the toilet. So that's what that is. Meaning that the history of that is because most of these stories were thought up while I was sitting on the toilet and escaping from my horrid hormonal children who just gave me so much grief. So let me describe the book cover to you. It is blue.
Yeah, it's gone through a multicolour of colours, hasn't it?
It has, and I've had a very wonderful team of people help me make the final decision on the colour of that book. I'll talk to you about that later. But the cover of the book is of me sitting on the toilet with my knickers around my ankles, wearing a black bra and a map across my knees. Mm-hmm. And
we're both looking down at it.
We are. I've got it in front of me. And there's a little plane and it says The Travel Bog Diaries. And I'm doing a face as if like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to do this. And there is a little plane going over the top of the travel. And there's a toilet roll holder and a toilet brush. Yeah. And then on the back, there's an unravelled toilet roll and a glass of wine and some sunglasses and lots of travel stamps that show that you've gone around the world.
Okay. Right. So that's the description of the book cover. And it is quite an out there book cover. And I have to say that myself, not because you have actually created this with your designer, but tell me about the process of choosing the book cover and the fear of showing yourself vulnerable like this.
Yeah, I know, because isn't it funny? Because I just picked up that book cover now and we talk about it as if like, oh, so what? It's just me sitting on the toilet. But we've had this book cover now for what, 6 weeks? No, about a month.
6 weeks, a month.
Yeah, so we're used to seeing.
Well, we took the
aren't we?
pictures originally, didn't we? So at least six weeks or so ago.
Yeah. So the process of choosing this cover, I'll answer the first part and then I'll answer the second part. But the process of it was in my mind when I started writing this book. I always knew that this cover should be me sitting on the toilet with a map or a globe or a phone or something that showed me, because that's how it was. That is the exact truth, you know? That's exactly as it was. I didn't sit in a cafe planning this trip. I didn't sit with a coffee in my garden planning this trip. It was always when I was sitting on the toilet, you know?
Well, that's the only place you get to think, isn't it?
Well, it's right, yeah.
You know, it's a bit of peace and quiet.
So I thought...
Been in there for 2 days.
Yeah, no, exactly. It never came out. And as I was writing the book, and the book is very much raw, down-to-earth, gritty humour. It's very, very, very real. There's nothing fancy and glossed over about this book. So in my mind, I thought, I want to do the toilet cover. Now, the reality side of me, when I went and looked at every other travel humour book, it showed things like a woman under a parasol, or, you know, a woman dragging a suitcase along a runway or something like that, you know, or like maybe a map and a glass of wine. And that's not to say there is anything wrong with a book cover like that. You know, it
tells a story, doesn't it?
It does. And these people are selling millions of books, so they're probably right and I'm wrong. But it just, as much as I was saying to myself, you know, Liz, you should really go with the norm and just do what everyone else is doing in your genre. You know, it's like, this is what you should do, obviously, because that's what they're doing. As much as like the sensible side told me to do that, my heart always said, yeah, but that's not the truth. You know, it's not, you never did drag a suitcase along a runway. You never did sit with a margarita under a parasol. Yeah, exactly. So I just decided to go with, that, and just, yeah. So what was the second part?
No, that was it. It was the fear of showing yourself vulnerable. That's, I mean, this you're describing, not describing the process of choosing the book cover, which is what you've described about you always wanted to be on the toilet.
Yeah.
So it's but the second part of the question, which is all one question, but it's the fear of showing yourself vulnerable. You know. Yeah,
because so what happened there was, I asked you to take the photograph of me, you know. I said, look, I told you what I wanted to do. And I said, can you take a photograph of me? And you did with your iPhone. Took absolutely hundreds of snaps of me just sitting on the toilet doing different faces. It was actually you that said, because I had my skirt on at first, didn't I?
Yeah, I was going to say, but it's like you what we're saying about is the fear and the vulnerability of showing yourself so vulnerable. Why didn't you just wear a t-shirt or a shirt or you know, even a vest?
Yeah.
You know, but it's not. It's just bra, but knickers are off.
Well, obviously your knickers are off. You can't sit on the toilet with knickers on, can you? Otherwise you're going to wee through them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so it's a filter system for the toilet. Keeps the toilet a bit cleaner.
And the top's off because I get too hot, Bri. I can't. I'm sitting there flustered.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always sweaty and hot. So whenever I get chance, whip them off. You know,
cool down.
Sit there and cool down. But yeah, so you took the photos of me.
Yeah.
And when you did take do you want me to talk about how when it came back and the feeling of the vulnerability and stuff?
Yeah, because the next question is, I'll ask you on that one, but yeah, just give me the vulnerability of showing yourself, the fear of it, like, you know, of seeing yourself like that.
So when you took the photo of me, so what happened was Brian took the photograph of me, and we were like, and I had my skirt on, and he's like, no, I think you should just take your skirt off. It doesn't look quite right. And so I took the skirt off, and then took some more photos. And the minute I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that is perfect. That is so perfect. And I was with you, so I felt safe because you'd taken the picture and there was only me and you saw it.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, isn't this funny? You know, look at us. We're taking these photos and it's going to be hilarious. And yes, it's the perfect thing for the book. Then I hired a designer and I sent her, she said, send me images of what you want, you know? So I sent her this image of me sitting on the loo. And she sent back she's an absolutely wonderful woman. She's called Alana and she's from 99 Designs. And she sent back with, oh my God, this is brilliant. Because I told her a synopsis of the book. And she said, I love it. give me what you want and I'll play around with it and I'll send it back to you. So I was like all cocky and like, oh yeah, I'm so brave. This is going to be brilliant. You know, ha ha ha, nothing bothers me, you know. And then she sent back the drafted version. So she'd added like a toilet roll and stuff at the side and put the letters, you know, the title. It just looked, but I don't know whether it was because it had come back from her email, or whether it was sitting on 99 Designs website. I don't know what it was. I don't know. But I saw it and all of a sudden I lost complete confidence. I remember just thinking, oh my God, you know, no, this isn't going to be happening. You know, and I remember you saying to me, well, why have you changed your mind? And I think that was when it hit me, Bri, was like, what you're doing is, it's no longer just you and Brian seeing this. You're going to put that out to the world. Yeah. You know, you're going to put that out. And I had a good week or so where I seriously considered going, no way, just no. And I remember talking to you about it. And you said to me, what would you think if you saw this book on the shelf? You know, what would you think? And I said, I would just think, this woman is inspiring, she's brave, and I want to read it because it's intriguing. And, you know, if this is what she's putting on the cover, then what has she written inside? Like, you know, and but I'm hand on heart, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't easy at all to put that out because, and I've written a whole email that I'm going to send to my newsletters about this, because my mum came and saw it and I said, what do you think of this? She was the third person to show it to. And I heard her go like this, like that. And she went, wow, you're brave. And, you know, when you just think, oh no, is that brave in a good way? Or is that brave in a bad way? Or is that, and then that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about learning to trust. But you never know. You never know if your trust is right or wrong, or you never know whether that is the right thing to do. And you're just hoping that this feeling inside you that says, no, keep going, keep doing it, is the right answer. But, and the other thing as well that I haven't really talked about with this, but I've thought about it, you know, and I don't want to, but in my family, from my dad, we were brought up to believe that if you were overweight, if you had fat, flab, rolls of fat, then that was ugly. You know, that was yuck. You know, it's like thin is good, you know, slim is good. And I don't want to point the finger at anyone. And I'm not saying like, you know, my dad was this and that, but that's not what this is about. But it was just like, that is what I grew up with. Like, you know, it's like, oh, you're getting a bit chubby there, you know, and like, and you'd be thinking, and it, you know, it was like I'm sure 99% of families do, like, you know, but it's quite, you don't realize it at the time, but it goes in, you know.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah,
and so when I saw myself on the front of the book, and I am literally slouched over, I forgot to mention this, I'm slouched over and I've got a big roll of fat under my bra and then another roll resting on my knees. And it's like, oh, you know what, Liz, that's not perfect. You know, it's just like, oh, really? You want to put that out? And so that was playing a big part too. Yeah. So
staying on that, because this runs into the next question as well. So, you know, we all do this, and I think women are a little bit more susceptible to this than men to a degree. I mean, this is what the general rule is. You can do stuff like this, and one minute you're feeling so, yeah, that's brilliant, I'm so positive, moving forward with it. And then the following week, it's like, oh my God, there's no way am I ever going to put that out. So why didn't you choose to use a model? Why did you use? Why would you put yourself out there like this as yourself and not use a model?
Yeah, because we talked about
why not play it safe?
Yeah, you know? We talked about using a model, didn't we? And, you know, just because there's images that you can buy on the internet of, you know, you pay for like a photo website, and this sounds a bit seedy, that actually, doesn't it? No, but there's images you can buy on the website.
Yeah, but you can, because that's what people get paid for is to go and. Because they don't care. It's not them. It's like, you know, this is your book with you on the cover. Not many people do that. Yeah. Not unless it's an autobiography about someone.
The answer to that, why did I choose to go with it, is because and like I say, we did look at a model, and we got this woman, and she was about 35. She was very beautiful and and slim, and like she was sat with her legs crossed. She was on the toilet, wasn't she? And we could have photoshopped that. We could have put her map in her hand and all that. But the reason I ultimately didn't go with that is because that isn't true. It's not. It's this whole book. This everything that I stand for and that is important to me is keeping it real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out there and write a book about how I, like I've said to you many times, just went and completely showed myself up at a concert in England by getting drunk and, showing my kids up, or wetting my pants in Sri Lanka, or, making a fool of myself in Japan by trying to greet someone and thought, I'm not going to do that. And give it to you as it is and tell you everything I'm feeling, and then go and stick a model or like even the parasol book cover. I'm not going to do that, because the minute you see this book cover, the minute you see it, you're going to know what to expect in that book. Yeah. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted to just be real. I wanted to be connect. I just want to be relatable. I just want to make people feel normal. I just want to just be, that's what this whole trip was about. This whole story is about. It's like, yes, I went around the world with my family for a year. What a dream is that? But guess what? It's not how they see it on the internet. It's not like it is on Instagram. It's just not. And people need to know that. And it's just like, you need to know the truth. And so the truth is, you sit on the toilet and your belly is hanging over and you're just looking like confused. And that is the truth. So that is how it's going to be.
Right. So basically what you're saying, it's just real. Yeah.
It is real, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is real. No one could ever accuse me of not being real.
So staying on that point, we'll just, what was the kids' reaction like, as in Sonny and Tessa, when they saw this?
Yeah, because that was scary. I mean, that was like, these poor kids are going to have to just, because I'm going to put it on social media, obviously. I'm going to say, buy this book, and they're going to have to, oh my God. Do you know what? Their reactions were flipping brilliant. Those two kids deserve every medal under the sun for what they have to go
endure
through. Yes, exactly. Because they know that I'm writing about them. Yeah. They know that I'm telling tales, And
that's kind of hard because they're both in the media light. I mean, Sonny's got a big following and that's what he does, isn't it? Like, he puts himself out there, and Tess now is like becoming this actor that is going to be putting herself out there, and everyone can go back and find out a little bit about her past now, can't they? Not just on social media.
Although Tess is all right, she's always comes out all right. It's poor Sonny that gets a little bit of slack, but no, they were absolutely. Tessa just said, "Oh, I love it. It's so real. It's so brilliant." And Sonny exactly the same. It's just so much support and so much like, "Oh, that's amazing." I just don't think they would have expected anything different, to be honest. They knew what it was. They knew it would be something like that, I would imagine. So it was lovely how they reacted.
The next thing is like we talked about before, we had like 3 or 4 covers that we'd whittled it down to. One had like a pop-out white outline around you and stuff like that. One had different colors and things. So you put this out to your readers of your newsletter. What was their reaction like, and how did you feel about the one that they chose in the end?
Yeah, the one they chose was, I'll admit, it was not the one I was going to go for. So I had 3 different colours. I had blue and I had orange and I had one with a blue with a white outline. And I was so torn because all of them were amazing, but I particularly liked the orangey looking one. Yeah. That was always my favourite. But listening to all these podcasts and going and reading all these books, and people always say, don't make it personal. I shouldn't say that because, oh my God, I have made it personal, but don't, ask other people who are going to read your book. And that was really scary because you want them to choose the orange one, but they didn't. I put it out to 50 people. I chose 50 of my most...
You had 90 people.
Yeah, but only 50 people answered.
Oh, was it?
So
Right,
I
right,
had,
right.
I had 90 people that I had in my bank of people who have always supported me and answered emails and done comments and things. And I sent it out to 9. I didn't actually. I sent them a message out, an email saying, would you mind if I sent you the cover of my book? And you told me. And 50 of them answered me back and said, we'd love you to.
Yeah.
So I sent 3 versions of the book cover out there to the 50. And these are people, like I say, just true
they've interacted
followers.
so much.
Oh, they're lovely.
Yeah,
that's not to say everyone is lovely,
but that's the interaction you've got back off them. That's what you're kind of talking about, and you kind of, so they know this journey because they've been so involved with it, haven't they?
49 people sent me an email back saying, "Oh my God, I love this. This is just so you. This is what I would have expected. You're so brave. You're so inspiring." But, just lovely, 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 lovely support. One person said, "I would never buy this book looking at this cover." And guess which one hurt them? Guess which one I was thinking about all night, Bri?
The only one you thought about.
I know. No. I was thinking about that one little person that said, "No, I would not buy this book."
Yeah, but why? That's always the way, though, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter how many millions of people say, "Oh, you're brilliant." The one person that goes, "I bloody hate that."
I know,
It's just
I know. But
and one person did write, "I like them all. Don't really care."
I know. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know there isn't, but it's just
That's fine.
Just at least just go. If I was going to choose one, it would be A, it would be B, or it would be C.
So I sent it out to 50 people, and 60% of them said they liked the blue, the one that I've gone with. 25% of them, or 20% of them said the yellow, 20% said the one with the white.
It was pretty similar with the other two, because and that goes back to that thing where you think I would choose this one. You've got to put it out to people, haven't you? It's a bit like painting a room, isn't it? You paint it to your colours, and everyone comes in and thinks, "Oh my goodness, what have they done in here?" But you love it, but nobody else likes it.
But then you have that battle because you think, surely you should just go with the one that you love.
No, but that's the idea. It's because this is what the consensus was like. It's like designing a car, isn't going, "I just love that. No one else is going to say anything about it, and that's the car that I want designed." And then everyone sees it and it doesn't sell. But why doesn't it sell? Because I just the only one who liked it. But if you give them 3 designs, they will choose the nicest, the one that they love. You can see it.
The one that
you were worried about it was all going to come back exactly the same. So what do you do then? You're in a right state.
What do you mean?
Well, it managed to have been 30
50%. Oh, yeah.
There was only literally a percentage, a 1 or 2% between it. Then you would be thinking, okay, I really need that. You'd have to put it out again, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, luckily it did come back, and it was a huge majority of people saying the blue. So the way I've thought about it, Bri, is if, I'm also writing, there's going to be another book following on from this because there's more stories that are going to be following on from this. So then I might go with the yellow, the orangey yellow one.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it is you can, because, that's what is going to be the...
Both kids said the blue and you said the blue. They were your favourites, weren't they? Was the blue?
Yeah, the one that got chosen was the one I liked. There was for certain reasons, and one of you people who replied almost said it word for word.
Yeah, it was Talitha, wasn't it? Talitha said exactly the same as you. She's like, But before
great minds think alike, Talitha.
Yeah, before we move on, because I know you've got one more question, but before we move on, what did you think when you saw the book cover?
The book, but the trouble was, I took the pictures, so I kind of knew what it was going to be, but to actually see it, because we printed it all out, didn't we? Wrapped it around another book, and so you could hold a book in your hand. It's to see it actually into a book. I keep looking over at it, it just does it. I love this book color because I love the blue as well. So to see it made, because we do a lot of design work, or you do a lot of design work yourself for thumbnails and stuff like that.
But that's not the question. The question is, what do you think when you look at a book cover and see your wife, who people in town know you, and they know that, oh yeah, there's Brian, he's the project manager for Green School. Oh yeah, my wife's written a book. Oh yeah, here it is, look. And they're going to see me in my knickers and bra. What do you think?
Just proud.
Because right answer.
There you go.
No,
just proud because that's my Liz on the front cover, and it's like that's who you are, and I'm proud of you for what you've done to put yourself out there like this. It's not like going to the beach. It's not like going because only a handful of people see you down the beach, don't you? But this, it's gonna be sold worldwide. So, it's like you said, it tells the story. This is me. If you like this, then you're going to actually love what's inside, and that's it, isn't it?
So you don't wish I'd sat there like Miss Havisham in the wedding dress?
No, because it wouldn't have been the way you write. It's the way you describe stuff, isn't it? Like, yeah, very dark.
I've been in this toilet now for 48 years.
That's it. And my daughter will not marry you. So, you just sort of touched on that about going to the last question now, because, we're running out of time. Because we've only given ourselves a certain amount of time. And you said about you may use the other book cover. So what are you most excited about next?
What am I most excited about?
Yeah, because obviously, I'll let you
No, go on. Obviously what?
Obviously, you can't just write a book and then that's it. You're not going to ever write anything ever again. So what are you most excited about?
Well, first of all, I'm just excited about releasing this book to the world. I'm nervous, I'm terrified, but I'm also really excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited just for people to read my words that have been in my head for 2.5 years. I said to you the other day, it's got to the point now when I sit around the table with Sunny and Tess and Brian, if they say something and that is a word or a phrase that has been used in my book, my mind goes instantly, oh, that's page 222 in Sri Lanka. Oh, that's Italy when we were in Venice. And so it's almost like, it's like having a flipping, I don't know, like a brain disorder where you constantly living in the flicking from backwards from the past to now to past to now to past to now. And it's like, I just want it out. I just want to share it. To let it fly. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. Especially now I've seen the kids' reaction when I read the Japan chapter to them. Yeah. I'm really, really, really excited about working on the audiobook. I can't wait to do that.
Yep.
Because that is something me and you can do together. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for you to read the book. I'm also excited to move on to the next project, which is, like I say, I've got 8 more chapters, which is going to be book 2, which is going to be like, the more Travel Bog Diaries. Because if I'd have included that in the first book, it would have been mega. So we split it up into 2, didn't we?
Because how many chapters have you got in the book? We never
there's 18. I think there's 18 chapters in the book, or 15, 16 chapters maybe.
And how many words does that?
So it's 60,000 words. Yeah. Which is for the first book, which is a substantial book, Yeah,
which is about 8 to 10 hours of reading, depending on how quick you read a book. So.
And again, they say, like the professionals say, oh, the best books, the ones that sell the most are between 30 and 40,000.
Yeah.
And then the second best are like between 50 and 60,000. So I was always thinking, I'll try and keep it between 30 and 40, but there was just too many stories.
That's in the genre that you're
No,
in.
That's just book writing in general, Bri. Right. That's what the experts tell you is just, it's best to keep it there. So I have gone over that, but so that's what I'm excited about the most.
Okay, so you're saying that if you're doing the next book, it's going to be the chapters that are not included.
Yeah, it's just like the hidden chapters. Yeah, they were just there was lots more stories that I kept out of that book. Yeah, and I think to put them into book 2, and I'll probably be release that in like September or something like that, August, September maybe. Just give me a chance to catch my breath and then go at it again. But
and you have got another one on the books as well, isn't it? Which is about the process, the journals of writing.
Yeah, I've also kept diaries of writing what this journey has been like to write the book. Yeah. So there you go. That's another book. So it's just like there's lots of exciting things. Yeah. And also I'm looking forward to just being able to go on holiday with you. And let's just go away somewhere. And then you can just sit and watch me writing,
in the toilet. Yeah. You just go to the toilet, Liz. There's a football game on down the road. That's why we're here.
So, I'm just looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure and an honour to have you on the podcast, Liz.
Was I a good guest?
No. But so until next time, I'd just like to sign off by saying kia kaha. Kia, stay true. Very proud of you and very doolally. See, now you know where that came from, don't you?
Well, aren't you going to explain that?
No, but let's leave that with the people. That goes about talking about reading something and thinking, oh, that's the word.
Yeah.
And that came just the other day, didn't it?
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been an honor to be on this show with you, Brian. It's been lovely just to sit and just chat to you. And I hope that, you've listening to this podcast has just given you an insight into that whole process of just choosing that book cover and moving forward. And yeah, if you've got any questions whatsoever that you want to ask and you want us to talk about on the podcast, I am happy to talk to you about that. But the next podcast episode that you get is going to be me reading the final little bit of the introduction. And then I really, really, really hope that I can say to you, here is the link, go and buy the book. Yeah. We're going to make that happen, Brian, aren't we?
But if they want to sign up for you, it's www.it'sadrama.com/front row.
Yes.
And you can get
the first to know news.
And you'll get to know exactly when this is going to be released.
Thanks so much for being with us, everyone. And thanks, Brian, for interviewing me.
Okay.
You're the best.
Oh, really?
I might get you to leave your wife. You're a bit of all right,
Let's leave it on a high.
Okay, bye.
See you now. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have loved having you. Don't forget, if you would like that exclusive unreleased video of me reading to you the very first chapter of my yet to be released book, this is top secret, it's very exclusive, and it's just for my subscribers. You can sign up to my Front Row newsletter by going to www.it'sadrama.com/front row. Sign up for that. I will send you the video. You are going to laugh your head off. You're going to love it. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.